Hello girls and guys and everything in between, welcome back to my channel! So today I am going to do a little basic tutorial just about how to achieve a really easy classic smoky eye. Now one of my most favourite ways to do a smoky eye is what we call the classic smoky eye technique. Now with this particular smoky eye, instead of popping darkness all over the lid to create that really vivid dark kind of a look, I tend to keep the darkness only on the outer third of the eye. So here's a little bit of a face chart and you can sort of understand what I'm talking about. So when I'm going in, I'm picking a light, a medium and a dark colour. In this particular instance, I'm going to put, if you divide the eye into 3 slices, the inner, the middle and the outer. On the inner 2/3 of the eye is where I'm going to put the light colour. On the outer third of the eye is where I'm going to put the dark colour. And then over the top, and that's where we're going to put our medium colour. So you can see this is where we construct our eyelid. So what do I mean by light, medium, dark? Well, light, medium, dark can be absolutely any colours you like. So for today's demonstration, I'm going to pick from my palette. I'm going to go with my neutral colours, which are up here. So for example today, I'm going to work with M.A.C, which is this lovely rich brown colour here. Then that's going to be my dark colour. For my light colour, I'm going to go for something more like this colour here, and I believe this is Brulee. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Brulee. So those two colours, that's my light and my dark. So now I need to find a colour that's in between. So I'm going to go for Saddle. Saddle, this colour here. So I'm going to do those 3 colours. So now with the brushes, some people like to use 70,000 million different brushes when you're creating a smoky eye, but that means you've got 70,000 million brushes to wash at the end of the day or the week or whenever you wash your brushes. I can't be bothered doing that, so I use 2. These 2 to be specific. I love to use a flat applicator, which is one like this, you can see. And see how it's got that smooth side and it's quite thin on the other side. So that is the first one. And the second one I'm going to use is a blender. A blender is fluffy, it shouldn't be too long, and generally the larger your eye space, the larger the blender can be. I like to use little ones because my lid space is smaller than my brow space. So this can get in there and really get in and get all the bits and pieces that I want to do. So first things first, before we start, I'm actually going to put down a base. Now if you don't put a base down, there's a higher likelihood that the eye will crease throughout the day. Because the skin is touching in this section here, it is prone to move, so never just put eyeshadow just on raw skin. So I'm going to take Painterly, which is a paint pot by M.A.C, and it looks, if I can get it on my hand, like this. See, it's quite a flesh tone, that little one there. And if I take that on my brush, I'm just going to apply that, focusing on the eyelid and then gently letting it fade away as it comes up towards the brow. So now I'm going to use that same brush again after it's been cleaned. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Brulee, that vanilla-y colour there. I'm going to pick it up on my brush. And you'll notice when I'm picking it up on my brush, I'm always stamping or pushing the product deeper into the brush, because if you don't, then it's going to end up springing all over your face, and especially when you're working with the darker colours, you're going to spend more time cleaning up than putting it on, and that's really frustrating. So focusing on the inner 2/3 of the eye, I'm sort of going to let it sort of blend that way, but focusing mainly there. And the effect should be quite subtle. I don't want it to be too insane at this moment. But can you see how one lid now looks just that little bit brighter? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my same little blender. I'm actually going to pick up the darker colour. So I'm going to pick up M.A.C. The way we create that outer section of the eye on the outer third is I always like to follow my waterline around, and as it wings out towards my brow, I create a straight line. Like that. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And then I'm going to turn it into like a little V, like an arrow pointing away from my nose. And that is going to be our fence, and that is where the eyeshadow needs to stop. If it comes out any further than this, it's going to start pulling the eye down and it's going to start making us look a little bit tired and droopy. Now I'm going to fill in that little triangle. Now, depending on your eye shape, you won't have to come out as far as I do. Because I've got more brow space, I need to create a little bit more darkness here to conceal this area and make my eyelid look brighter. If you've got larger eyes, this can be a smaller thing. God, you know what I mean. A smaller shape. Okay, so now I'm going back in and intensifying with my applicator, and just turning it into a little bit of like a Pac-Man. I want like a little C shape to sort of eat my eye. Now I'm going to take my little blending brush, I'm going to buff that in. Now I do it in little spirally motions heading towards the nose. I don't want to go out this way because I don't want to close this gap off too much more than I already have. So I'm doing little spirally motions. And when in doubt, blend it out. There is no such thing as an eyeshadow that's too blended. Or maybe there is, but I haven't seen it yet. Gently sort of washing the colour through the crease, bringing it onto the lid. So now we're starting to get there, but one problem is if we just do dark and light colours, the contrast is very sharp. So you can see from where the chocolate meets the skin, it's very light dark. It's not smoky enough, so we need that little extra oomph. Okay, so we're going to pick up our medium colour, Saddle, which is this one here, on the end of the blending brush, picking it up like this. Giving it a good little press as well. So let's use, say, this eye. So I'm going to start on the darker section of the eye, and I'm going to very gently work that across like a halo. Like a halo! Please don't sue me, Beyonce. Okay, so as I'm blending that in, I'm sort of connecting all the dots and everything's starting to melt together a little bit more. Can you see the difference between where we've got the medium colour blended through versus where we have it without? So you can see it's starting to come together. However, what's missing? Well, if we've got all this colour going on upstairs and nothing really underneath, it's going to flatten the eye a little bit, and we're drawing more attention to above my eye rather than right into the centre of my eye ball. So how do we fix that? Well, we create a picture frame. What do I mean by that? I mean by creating a little bit of darkness in underneath the eye. We're going to sort of picture frame and cause that focus to come straight in on my eyes, and it will actually change the eye shape quite a bit as well. So depending on what you're going for, more colour blended down underneath will pull the eye open more. So I'll show you what I mean. Taking my little flat applicator again, I'm going to pick up my dark colour, and I'm going to introduce that on the outer third of the lower corner of the eye. Just there. And I don't want to go too far down because I don't want to draw the attention back down under the eye. I just want to very lightly support the lid. Like that. So if I pull back, by putting that darker colour in underneath the eyes are starting to look two different shapes. This eye's sort of pulling flatter and pulling up, where this eye is coming and pulling open a little bit more. So if we want that rounder, more large eye, which I definitely do for my eye shape, take that darker colour in underneath the eye. But we're not done there. We're going to take the medium colour, Saddle, and I'm going to blend that all the way inside. Very gently just run that back and forward just to diffuse. And then I'm going to take my lighter colour. I'm going to pop that just inside here. So if I pull back again, can you see the difference between the eyes? See how this eye now has got a little bit more focus on round, where this eye looks slightly flatter. So that's one other little thing you can do to pull your eyes open while still creating that smoky look. So the basic construction of the smoky eye is complete. You can see, again, we've got the dark, then the light on the lid, medium over the top, and then we've got dark on the outer corners down below, and then medium running through most of that lower section of the eye, and then light just on the inner tear duct just to open it up. Now, let's add in some optional extras just to really step this smoky eye up a little bit more. So how do we step it up? Well, I'm going to turn up the contrast. I'm going to take something that's very sparkly, such as Gleam, which is this colour here. I'm going to pick that up on my applicating brush. I'm going to pop that on the inner corners of the eye, just in there. And that's going to catch a little bit more light, down below as well. So that's just going to catch, see how it just catches a little bit more light on that inner corner? Now, to turn it up a little bit more, we're going to take Carbon, which is matte black, which is this one here. Pick that up on my fluffy brush on the very tip. I'm going to just very lightly work that through the crease on the outer section of the eye. Okay, so now for a little bit of mascara and white eyeliner. So now for my eye shape, I'm not putting a lot of highlight up there underneath the brow because I'm not trying to draw this forward as much as I'm trying to draw my eyelid forward, because I feel I've got more of a lid, more of a brow space than I do have lid space. If you are the other way around and you've got larger eyes, then feel free, bring that forward as much as you want, but you know, have a play and see what suits your eye. Now of course for the hair, bring out the hair. So, as you can see, that is the basic Smokey Eye. So, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know in the information down below. And until I speak to you next, this is Davey, signing off.
Thank you.